I've always craved a sense of belonging, a need for community. As a kid, life was difficult. I felt displaced and excluded. I was misunderstood. School life was horrible, family life was complicated, and even from a young age, I knew life would be about survival and self-preservation. Hope and meaning were somewhat non-existent. I always had this sense that there was something greater than what I could see. My grandparents would take us to car boot sales and they'd give us £1. I found this little framed Lord's Prayer and was fascinated by it. 50p later, it was mine. I used to read it all the time, not really knowing what it meant. Now, I was a class clown, my way of seeking validation. In year 10, I had this history teacher who was having none of it and sat me outside of the class. She didn't do it to separate me, she did it to invest in me. I found myself on a CPS youth camp. That youth camp changed my life. That something greater I had been looking for became apparent. I had experienced the love and presence of God. And in one moment, I learned that love is not conditional. Back to the teacher. At 17, I could no longer live at home, and her and her husband took me in, and they became my foster parents. Her husband was a curate, and this was the first time I had considered ordained ministry. I explored ordained ministry in 2011, but it felt like the right thing at the wrong time. I needed to understand what it means to walk alongside people like me. About 6 years ago, I was working in a prison, teaching inmates maths and English. I remember vividly this one guy who had taken the courses. We helped secure an interview and wrote a CV with him. As he sat with this piece of paper in front of him, he wept. He said, "Maybe I can make my family proud." We'd given him dignity. Reconciliation is messy in a complex world, but it gives people meaning. There was something comfortable about what I was doing. I was helping people, but it still wasn't right. I still felt displaced. After a conversation with a curate friend of mine, I knew it was the right time for the ordination talk with my wife, Beck. Beck had started a new teaching job. Beck told me that day she'd walked around the school and felt exactly where she was meant to be, but I wasn't. So we knew it was the right time for me to explore ordination again. At the heart of all of this is a heart for inclusion. We cannot retreat from the brokenness of the world and hide away from it. How do we enable one another to reach those who are excluded? To those who have no hope, I promise there is hope.